Alrighty. So my name's Greer, and I'm going to talk to you today about It Neva Brok. Chris, that's bad English. It's not broken. Many people would say that. But who has the right to tell me that? Is it incorrect to say it Neva Brok? I'll get there in a minute. Well, for those of you who haven't come up and talked to me personally, my wife and I, about 8 years ago, we decided to move from the States to Latin America. We started out in Panama. 3 years later, we moved to Costa Rica, and right after the last SharkFest, we packed everything, or we sold a ton of stuff, got down to 8 bags, and we went up the road to Nicaragua. So this was basically all of our earthly possessions in June. And I have this wonderful lady by my side, and she didn't leave me, which is great. Because to ask your wife to get down to 8 bags is it's hard to do that. And half that stuff is kitchen. So she's an amazing cook, so, I sacrificed my SharkFest t-shirts, sorry. Yeah, so we went up the road to Nicaragua. So we went from Costa Rica, went up the road, there we go. This was on the way, sitting on the bus at 3 in the morning and thinking, what are we doing? Well, when we finally got to Managua up there, that's where we live now, one of the things that we're doing in Nicaragua and a project that we're really passionate about is helping people in that area learn to read the language that they were raised speaking. Okay, so for a lot of those people, they grew up speaking a language that never was in print. The closest language that they learned that was in print was Spanish. So from birth to 5 years old, they're at home speaking a language. And at 5 years old, they go into school, and that's where they actually learned how to read. However, it wasn't the language they grew up speaking. Well, what language was that? Well, as we're there talking to people, that language, it's English-based. It's called English Creole, Central American English Creole. It's a relative to Jamaican and Belize Creole, but it's different than the way I speak. There's been so much shame heaped on these people for the way they speak that if they come up to me and talk to me, they'd rather speak to me in Spanish. Why? Because they'll say, Chris, you'll call my language broken. You'll call it broken English. And I'll say, I never said that. Let's find out about how you talk, what reaches your heart. So over time, in about the 90s, the government of Belize started to actually get a real dictionary for this language, and officially register it as a language, officially start printing books in it. Actually entering it in school programs, making it to where people could begin to read the language they were raised speaking. Now, a lot of these people, there's quite a group of these people in Nicaragua, and those are the ones that we're working with to learn how to read it. But I wanted to introduce this language to you, and you can follow right along with me. Now, at first, you might think, okay, what is this? It looks like Klingon. But if you go through it, and especially if, I apologize, if English is a second language, there might be a part that you don't quite get, but let's just do this together. So it's phonetic. So in a Creole, we don't never talk in one bad kind of way. It's just the kind of way we might did talk to we might did talk to we and as we did grow. And so, I want to tell you the truth. If you don't say I did talk bad, it going to make the ayawata drop. That's, to me, think about it. I could say, I'm going to start crying. But to a Creole person, ayawata. Doesn't that kind of make more sense? So who is to say that this is broken? I say, this is right. So it's not broken. They would say, it never broke. Thank you.